Jan Lagi.
E te manga o te whare, tēnā koe, tuarua ki ngā mema o tātou whare, tēnā koutou katoa. Tua toru mihi atu ki te wiki o te reo Māori, tēnā koutou katoa. Mr. Speaker, I'm normally quite a positive person in this world. I love this country. I love our wild places and where I grew up managing to explore. I love our people and our cultures. I love the vision of the Green Party and what I believe it can offer this country. But the government's pointing out that, some people on this side of the House are seeming a bit grumpy. I've got to say, personally, I am grumpy. After question time today, I was shaking at the fact that this government won't rule out contracting social services and the protection of our most vulnerable children to a company that has been responsible overseas for putting children in cages. That does make me furious. It makes me furious for the well-being and the preciousness of the people of this country, and I believe that is worth being angry for. That this government, for the ideology of privatisation, is sacrificing the well-being of our people and our environment does make me angry. A month ago, we heard from the Minister of Social Development that she was open to considering Serco, the Guantanamo Bay of corporate world. That she was considering them to provide community care for our most vulnerable people, young people, victims and survivors of domestic and sexual violence. Now let's unpack this. The Minister of Social Development said she was open to allowing a company with the track record of Serco to provide social services to some of the most vulnerable people in this country. Maybe that shouldn't have been a surprise to me, considering she gave Serco the contract for Mount Eden Prison and defended them when they were failing 40% of their targets, and then just continued to dismiss the concerns that were being raised with her about prisoner safety. And still yesterday, when she was questioned about the revelations around Mount Eden of drug rings, fight clubs, concerns over suspicious prisoner death, broken legs of prisoners within Serco, and then she still said, well, quote, I think with any of them, actually it's the quality of the contract that's really important thing there. Maybe admitting that actually she hadn't done a very good job in setting up the contract with Mount Eden. Maybe she'd learnt those lessons and that she thought the contract would solve it in the future for social services. But really she's telling us that the track record, the ethics of a company doesn't matter in the face of the opportunity to privatise our public and social services. This government would prefer to do business with Serco, the Guantanamo Bay of the corporate world, rather than properly partner with our community organisations or strengthen our public service. And this is part of a pattern that we're seeing from this government. In education, we have equally problematic privatisation agenda playing out in chaos and uncertainty for children and families. A number of these children's charter schools have been in the media with serious problems. The Ministry of Education raised concerns about Whangaruru School and West Auckland Villa School before the contract was granted by the Minister, who was hell-bent on privatisation, overriding the concerns raised by the ministry. Maybe the Minister again thought a tight contract would offer protection, no matter the risk to the children, their families, or the eventual cost to the state of their failure, the cost to the state and the removal of funding that could have been used constructively within our public school system. And of course, we're also seeing the sell-off of state houses. initially promoted by the government as supporting community housing providers, something most New Zealanders and the Greens would certainly support in addition to state housing, but now seems to be yet another opportunity for the government to help out their mates, the property developers. And the government won't even be putting the profits from that back into housing. What we're seeing is the government has been quietly opening up prisons, state housing stock, work and income, schools, social services for business, for their mates.